Chapter 5, Sensitivity, Stimulation Overload. Are there days when you feel like you could just jump out of your skin? Do you sometimes feel a sudden rush of anxiety that seems to come out of nowhere? We are all born with some level of sensitivity, and some of us are more sensitive than others. But the kind of sensitivity in this chapter we'll discuss is more than merely being emotional enough to cry at greeting card commercials. Our 5 senses, sight, sound, touch, smell, and taste, are meant to give our physical bodies the tools we need to maneuver in the physical world. But in Lightworkers, one or more of these senses can be so acute that they tend to go beyond the physical and extend out into the ethers to connect with source energy. This can make them hypersensitive to outside stimulation, such as noise, light, or even other people, and they may have strong reactions to these stimuli, even when the stimuli don't seem to bother anyone else around them. This sensory overload can cause lightworkers not only physical, but also emotional stress, especially when a lightworker is not aware of why he or she is so sensitive and has no idea what to do about it. As a child, I suffered from anxiety attacks that persisted until I understood the true nature of my lightworker soul and why I was feeling anxiety. Only with this realization can lightworkers appreciate their hypersensitivities as the gifts they are and learn to manage and develop them into psychic abilities that will guide their lives here on Earth. What's your sensitivity? If I hear a loud noise, I will feel it deeply in my bones. If I'm in a room with too much sunlight streaming in, I won't sit by the window because I will actually feel pain. I'm constantly dimming the lights in my house. I am also highly sensitive to temperature and always feel cold. I have so many sensitivities that I have to alter my lifestyle to cope with them all. What situations make you feel overwhelmed? Make a list of any physical symptoms you have on a regular basis when exposed to various stimuli in the outside world. To help you make your list, think about the following questions. How do you respond to loud music? Will a loud noise make you jump? Does someone standing too close to you make you jump out of your skin? Does light really hurt your eyes? Do certain materials, such as wool, really annoy you? Do other people tell you that you're too sensitive? Does caffeine make you bounce off the walls more than most people? Do you panic in crowds? When someone walks in a room, do you feel a shift in your own mood? Do you dislike perfume, or does cologne give you a headache? Do you suffer from food allergies or sensitivities? Do certain over-the-counter cold medicines give you adverse reactions or have the opposite effects from what the bottle indicates? There are no right or wrong answers to these questions, of course, but examining those questions you answered with a yes will give you an indication of where your lightworker sensitivities are strongest and where you should focus your attention. What does your sensitivity mean? Because we all have different sensitivities and different degrees of sensitivity, some of us are more likely to be able to interpret energies with one of our 5 senses than we are with the others. Analyzing your sensitivities will give you a good idea of how to use your Lightworker abilities and what area or areas of light work you can excel in. For example, if you are sensitive to noise, you will be a light worker who hears messages from the spirit world because your sense of hearing is heightened. If you are sensitive to certain materials against your skin, you could be a light worker with hands-on healing skills who excel in therapeutic touch. If you are sensitive to bright lights or have strong reactions to images, you will be a light worker who receives messages from your spirit guides and teachers by seeing pictures. The following heightened senses go along with various extrasensory abilities. Sensitivity to sight, clairvoyant, which is clear sight. Sensitivity to noise, which is clairaudient, clear hearing. Sensitivity to pain or touch, which is clairsentient, clear feeling. Sensitivity to smell, which is clairalient, clear smell. Sensitivity to feeling, claircognizant, clear knowing. Although the following spiritual practices could incorporate all your senses, here are a few suggestions of practice you might expect to excel at depending on your type of sensitivity. Heightened sensitivity to sight, aura reading, tarot or oracle card reading, remote viewing, mediumship, and spirit art. Heightened sensitivity to sound, mediumship, spirit rescue, sound healing, working with electronic voice phenomenon, EVP. Heightened sensitivity to touch, energy healing including Reiki, psychometry, working as an intuitive advisor. Heightened sensitivity to smell, mediumship, aromatherapies, candle therapy. And heightened sensitivity to taste, mediumship, holistic healing, and herbal remedies. Signs of things to come. Light workers may also get precognitive sensitivities. If I sense something is about to happen, for example, I will get very pronounced goosebumps. Some of my colleagues who also experience this call them spirit bumps and take them as a sign of validation for their psychic messages or validations. This type of reaction aligns with your sense of touch or feeling. Your skin is literally reaching to the awareness that something is about to occur. Heightened hearing can work this way as well. For example, right before my mother calls me, I will usually hear a ringing in my ears. Most times, within 5 minutes, the phone will ring and it will be her. Pay special attention to the way you were feeling before something big happened. Did you feel anxious in the days before a major earthquake? Did you feel light and happy for no apparent reason right before your boss surprised you with a large bonus? These emotional or physical symptoms can be precognition. By paying attention to your own signals, you will learn your personal signs of things to come. Ways to prevent short-circuiting. As I mentioned in the beginning of this chapter, excess stimulation can cause physical and emotional stress. Because heightened sensitivity affects all 5 senses, symptoms can include any number of symptoms, such as anxiety, nervousness, unwarranted or irrational fears, restlessness, headaches, dizziness, chronic pain due to conditions such as fibromyalgia or restless leg syndrome, feelings of being detached from your body. Unaware lightworkers may seek to medicate themselves to quell the uncomfortable feelings their sensitivities bring on. This can create addiction issues, or worse yet, total block out their powerful lightworker gifts, which then begin to cycle of feeling lost, misplaced, and worthless. Fortunately, you can rely on much better ways to relieve yourself of the unpleasant feelings associated with being hypersensitive. Awareness of what your sensitivities mean and being able to see them as the gifts they are the first steps in learning to deal with them. For example, when I was 8 years old, my mother wasn't feeling well one week, and soon after, I suffered my first anxiety attack. My sensitivities to someone who was sick brought on the anxiety. Although, as I mentioned, I suffered with anxiety attacks and irrational fears for many years, this stopped happening once I became more tuned in to my own sensitivities and my identity as a light worker. Making lifestyle adjustments to eliminate or limit your triggers also helps. That includes learning what foods, drinks, or even medications may set you off. If I have caffeine any time of the day, during the day, then I'm all up at night. And I simply cannot take an over-the-counter medication that contains diphen hydroxamine, the antihistamine used in Benadryl, because it keeps me up for hours with nervous jitters, even though this drug makes most people sleepy. Certain environments may also set you off, necessitating that you either avoid the place entirely if you can, or that you learn to shield yourself. Perhaps your house harbors energy that you are sensitive to because of events that occurred there in the past, or people who have lived there before, like the old house my friend David brought. David didn't need to move out, but he did need to help getting rid of the troubled spirit hanging around his house. Major electrical lines are another example of how your environment can throw your system off balance, particularly if you are clairsentient, sensitive to feel or touch. This happened to a friend's younger daughter who attended a summer day camp located on the campus, bisected by a string of huge electrical towers. My friend's normally mild-mannered child, who had no problems going to school the rest of the year, cried and cried when dropped off at the camp, despite the fact that her best friend also attended the camp and that the program included many activities that the little girl loved. The counselors tried to work with the girl, but day after day, they ended up calling her mother to come pick up the child. After just a week, my friend pulled her daughter from that day camp and sent her to one in a different location where she was fine. You may also find that certain people, because of the dark energy they harbor, can also act as triggers for you. This is true not only for people who upset or annoy you, but also for people who are depressed. Remember that your reactions come not from whether you like these people, but from how their energy interacts with yours. This is why learning how to shield yourself is invaluable. Below is a list of general lifestyle tips that you may find useful in preventing stimulation overload. Engage in a daily exercise routine. Drink plenty of water. Avoid caffeine. Avoid over-the-counter medicine containing high levels of that long word we spelled earlier, diphenhydramine. Keep your personal environment as organized as possible. Remove any old or outdated items from your space that may harbor old energies. Retreat into a quiet, dark space to center yourself. Avoid crowds whenever possible. Feel gratitude for how your gifts of hypersensitivity can serve you. And shield yourself when necessary. A word about sensitive children. While some babies sleep the night away, content as they can be, others are cranky and fussy, experiencing what doctors call colic. Some even have food sensitivities or allergies to certain materials. Could the fussy, colicky baby be more sensitive? Most likely, the answer is yes. These babies may cry a lot, have trouble sleeping, and need to be comforted more often than most because they are highly sensitive to the energies and vibrations around them. These children are likely to develop extrasensory perceptions much more easily than those who don't seem to be fazed by much. Recently, we have seen an increase of children who have sensitivity issues. Many are classified as having special needs, and sadly, a large number of them are medicated. Because the earth plane is currently heavy with dark energy, increasing numbers of these sensitive light workers will incarnate to help balance the energy of the planet. The fact that we are seeing an increase in the number of these types of children tells us that these energetic shifts are indeed occurring. Here are some possible indicators that your child may have heightened senses. He or she is easily startled, may not always sleep soundly, cries easily, may have food allergies, dislikes wearing clothes, has strong reactions like or dislike to strangers, is sensitive to noises, becomes anxious in crowds, is very sensitive to temperature, especially in food or a bottle, reacts strongly to smells, has an unusual amount of unwarranted fears. As a child, I was extremely emotional, fearful, and anxious due to my heightened sensitivity. I had a tremendous amount of difficulty in school. Both the learning disability I was diagnosed with, dyslexia, which is actually a gift, and my sensitive nature made it nearly impossible for me to focus on my schoolwork. I was reacting to the highly charged, chaotic energy of a busy classroom full of children. My teachers labeled me lazy and impatient because I would rush through my work, getting it all wrong, just so I could have some time to space out, instinctively going into the ether to shield myself from the energies that were tormenting me. A sensitive child can easily become ungrounded and disconnected from the earth plane just to cope. My teachers' negative assessment of me and the way they treated me caused me to have strong feelings of worthlessness and low self-esteem. I often wondered how much more positive my school years would have been if an adult had recognized this and helped me with some shielding exercises. If you have a child who is easily distracted or who is experiencing problems focusing on schoolwork, he or she could be hypersensitive and having a reaction to the energies bombarding him or her. Allowing such a child to decompress with some downtime at the end of the school day can be very helpful. Depending on your child's personality, this downtime could include taking a walk in the park, reading him or her a calming story, taking a nice, relaxing bath. Water will dilute and wash away a lot of the excess energies. And peppermint oil, or even just having some quiet time. Such children need this time after school to shake off the energies they have been exposed to all day long in the classroom. Avoid rushing this type of hypersensitive child to another activity, such as a team sport, music lesson, or club. Allowing the child to watch television or play video games immediately after school, or pushing the child to jump right into homework. You may also find it helpful to eliminate caffeinated drinks, including soda, and foods with excess sugar from their diet. A calm, secure, and loving home environment is a must for sensitive Lightworker children. By practicing some of the methods discussed here, you will be giving them a head start in learning to cope with their sensitivities. Learning how to shield yourself. Shielding is a vital technique you should practice daily, not only when you sense you need it. Think of it as an important prevention tool, like taking vitamins or brushing your teeth. Shielding not only keeps you grounded, but also prevents your energy field from absorbing the negative energies around you. You can use a variety of techniques to shield yourself, but start with this relatively simple exercise. Later, you can change or adapt it if you like. Number 1, picture yourself inside a bubble with a white light from your higher power above your head. Envision this white light encircling your entire body, including the bottom of your feet. Tell yourself that this bubble of light shields you from all of life's anxieties, as well as troubles and dangers. Allow yourself to feel the strength of this protective white light, which is so strong that nothing can penetrate it, so nothing negative can touch you. When you then encounter troubles as you go about your day, simply remember your protective bubble and the light inducing emotions it engenders. This works well when you're in a crowd of people and feel surrounded by negative energy, as well as if you're in a conflict at home or work. Anytime you go to a party or other large gathering with lots of people and lots of stimulation, remember to shield yourself first. Shielding yourself before you get into a car, whether you're driving or just a passenger, is also a good practice. Taking on other people's energy. It's now time to take a deeper look at being sensitive to energy fields other than your own. This is different from empathy, which we will discuss in a later chapter. Perhaps you're in a great mood and then your friend calls. He's all doom and gloom. He talks about how his stocks are taking a dive and how he'll never sell his house. He doesn't think he can pay for college for his kids anymore. Even though you know he's just worried and that everything will probably work out just fine, suddenly your good mood is out the window. Out of the blue, you experience a major headache. Or maybe you come home from the gym feeling totally energized from your workout, only to find your roommate feeling sluggish, sitting like a lump on the couch in a depressed mood. Suddenly, you feel incredibly tired, even though just a minute ago you felt amazing. What's going on here? If you're sensitive to other people, then it's very easy for you to absorb their energy and think that it's your own energy. And the adverse reactions will manifest through one of your 5 heightened senses. The key here is to stop the momentum of the dark energies and recognize what is happening. Distinguish and separate which energies is yours and which belongs to the other person, and then shield yourself. If your husband or wife walks in after having a bad day at the office, you can certainly commiserate with your spouse, but also be sure to distinguish his or her energy from your own by simply separating the two in your mind. Your job isn't to live someone else's energy. Highly sensitive people would also do well to avoid violent TV shows or movies because it's possible to absorb the negative feelings just from watching them unfold on the screen. Suddenly, you go from having a calm demeanor to screaming at the kids. This isn't limited to horror movies. Even watching talk shows or reading about someone's tragic life in the paper or tabloids without shielding yourself first can cause you to experience disturbances for days afterward. Paying attention to how you react in these situations is important. Do you experience changes in your body, achiness or overall tiredness, or in your mood, depression or feeling edgy? Or do you begin to have disturbing and vivid dreams or thoughts? Again, be conscious not to allow energies that are not your own to take over your senses. It's hard today to remain positive when you flip on the news and watch the dismal economic reports. So consider limiting the amount of TV news you watch and avoid filling your head with the unnecessary clutter of daytime talk shows or soap operas. Taking on the weight of the world. A lightworker's senses are highly affected by the collective consciousness. As the universal energy shifts with major occurrences on the planet, so will your heightened senses. That is tough to combat, but you can get through it. When tragic events occur on our planet, the lightworkers will often feel the effects. Even on the anniversary of 9/11, for example, I feel a total depression sweeping over me. Or I may begin seeing disturbing visions during my meditations. It's very important to remain aware of what is happening in the world so you can connect how you are feeling to current events for later reference. Did you suffer a panic attack before the tsunami in Thailand in December 2004 or the Haitian earthquake in January 2010? Were you feeling sad the week before Michael Jackson and Farrah Fawcett passed away? Did you hear ringing in your ears right before a major plane crash was reported on the news? Every time an event occurs that affects the collective energy on the earth plane, you may experience some strange sensory reactions to it that are totally unrelated to what is happening in your own life. It's important to note these correlations because this knowledge will help you to cope with your feelings at the time and also process them more quickly in the future. It will also help you to predict events to come by knowing your reactionary symptoms. When you feel these effects of the collective energy, pull yourself out by connecting with the beauty of our planet. Go on a walk in nature and breathe in some fresh air to balance your vibrational equilibrium. Connecting with trees or to anything with roots that are planted firmly in the earth will help ground your energy. Hugging a tree or laying on top of a large rock will immediately ground you and connect you with the light energy available on the earth plane. Sensitivity is just one aspect to being a light worker. As your heightened five senses go beyond your physical body, which sometimes has a challenge controlling them, remember that the sensitive nature of your spirit is a gift meant to help you heal the planet. Learning to use these gifts in a productive way will not only help you, but it will give you the opportunity to help others. Next, we will examine the second attribute of all light workers, intuition.